Welcome to Get Ripped Collectibles.
Gator Dave, Gator Dave. I forgot I gotta hold my mic. Gator Dave, Gator Dave. What's up, baby?
How are you, Mike?
What's going on, man?
We're rolling into week 9 here for another Pick'em show. All excited about this one for sure. Here we are tonight, ready to pick some games and chat a little college football. Gator Dave's rolling at Casa Guerin South in PCB, getting ready for the cocktail party this weekend over in Jacksonville to watch my Gators play the Georgia Bulldogs. So very excited about that one. So a couple of reminders, please subscribe to the YouTube account. Hit that like button. The more the merrier there, and obviously interact with the chat. We'd like to hear your points, your comments, all that kind of good stuff, so we can keep this thing rolling tonight. Mike, you wanna throw up where we were from last week? I think Gator Day finished 6-4-2, and Miami Mike. What did we say there, Mike? 5.
I fell back a little bit. I fell back a game. That's all right though. We're only 4 back. We got some potential movement this week. So
okay.
We'll see if we can't get it back. Movement. That's right.
But Gator Day made up a couple of games there, which is a good thing. But the most important thing here is that Miami Mike's team beat Clemson. So I think he'll take that over a game or two behind Gator Dave. I'm sure he'll take it. In a minute.
I think I lost a couple of years watching that game, but we got it done, dude. We got it done. Maybe we finally turned the corner. Awesome. Who knows?
It was awesome. Navon and I were right there watching that game, cheering your team on. So
man, it was stressful.
Let's get into this thing. And speaking of Miami's, let's start with that other Miami there. Go ahead, Mike. What you got?
Yeah, so we're gonna go back to the Miami of Ohio well here. We talked about them last week. Didn't really go our way. We both had them against Toledo. Fell just short of the cover, 21-17. But let me find my notes here. I'm sorry. Listen to the music in your head, everybody. All right, so this rivalry goes back to 1908. They have been playing a very, very long time. However, it's pretty one-sided. Miami of Ohio is 3-7 in its last 10 games at Ohio. 1-4 in their last 5 games at Ohio. Both teams sit at 6-2 right now. They're sitting at number 1 and number 2 in the East Division of the MAC Conference. So we got some action here to start off the show. Miami of Ohio is without their starting quarterback, Brett Gabbert, the brother of Blaine Gabbert. He suffered a leg injury last week, so it's going to be starting backup Avion Smith, who does have a dual threat capability, but he was not very good throwing the football. And the problem for him is this Ohio defense is one of the best in the nation, giving up just 81 yards a game on the ground and under 180 yards in the passing game. I think the Bobcats defense is going to be too much for the Redhawks here. Give me Ohio -7 to get it done. Who you like here, Dave?
Yeah, I'm rolling along those lines, Mike. I mean, you pointed out that defense. That defense is ranked 6th. Oh, this is Ohio. Legit. They are ranked 6th in the nation. They are bad to the bone. So I'm with you there. You couple that with a quarterback that is just not good, and that spells definitely disaster for the Redhawks. So I looked at a couple of things here. Crossover game, Western Michigan. Last week, Ohio beat them 20-17. They were favored by 16.5, so they didn't really cover. Miami beat them by 13 2 weeks ago. Another crossover game's Bowling Green. Ohio won 38-7. Miami 27-0. And then Kent, they both played Kent. Ohio beat them by 25. Miami beat them by 20. But I'm rolling in there, Mike, with that poor quarterback going down, Gabbert going down. I think that spells major trouble. And then you couple that with the fact that they're playing at Ohio. Always good for 3 or 4 points in a game like that. So I think that's what's pressed this thing. So I'm going to go Ohio -7 here too, Mike.
All right, right on. Next, we're going to go Wyoming, Boise State. You want to tell us a little bit about this one?
Yeah, Wyoming, Boise State. So
take us to the Plains,
Wyoming
Dave.
comes in at 5-2. They've kind of come to the forefront a bit this year. They've got some publicity with obviously coming in and giving Texas a game, that first game. They're 4-2-1 against the spread, which is pretty good. Boise comes in, they're having a tough year. There's talk that they could be jettisoning that coach. He's 2-4 and 2-4 against the spread, so not looking too good. Wyoming did lose to Air Force and Texas. And Boise's big wins come against the SU teams, San Jose and San Diego, which ain't too good. All the money right now is rolling on Wyoming. Wyoming comes in ranked 83rd on offense, 69 on defense. Boise's 57 on offense and 101 on defense. Just flat, horrible defense. Boise's playing terrible. I mean, they're hot garbage right now, and I think Wyoming's, playing pretty good. They've had some good games, and I think they roll through this one pretty well. Even though Boise's favored by 5, I'll take those 5 points and give me the Cowboys and Wyoming here, Mike.
Yeah, I totally see why you would go that way. First and foremost, to me, the number one thing that stands out is the wrong team is favored in this one.
Yeah.
Wyoming is 5-2. Boise is 3-4. Wyoming's got upset wins. Well, I won't call them upsets. I think they were favored in a couple, but they beat Texas Tech. They beat Appalachian State. They beat Fresno State. Had a tough 1-score loss 2 weeks ago to Air Force. Both these teams are coming in off a bye. The biggest thing for Wyoming is, this is going to help you out here, Dave, is their running back, their best running back, Harrison Whaley, averages over 7 yards a carry. He was hurt for that Air Force game. He is supposed to be back for this one, so they'll have their best running back back. But don't get it twisted. On the other side, Boise State has a dog as well. He has 868 yards on the season, 11 touchdowns on the ground through 7 games. So they really rely heavily on their ground game. Taylon Green for Boise State, the QB's got 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Not great. They've been using their backup a little bit, Maddox Madsen. He's done a little bit better, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but not too many yards. On that opposite side, Andrew Peasley for Wyoming, like you mentioned, I mean, he's playing pretty lights out, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I think the big thing here is the defense going to struggle at all? But I got some numbers here for you, Dave, which ultimately turned the table for me, all right? So I was already looking at it. It was a little sketchy at that line because, like we said, the better team is not favored in this one. Boise at home -5. Wyoming is 0-2 in road games this year, all right? Boise State is 3-1 at home. In their 17 meetings all time, Wyoming is 1-16 against Boise State. They've won once out of 17 times playing Boise State. They get outscored by just under 20 points a game, Gator Dave. They have also never won at Boise, going 0-8 and getting outscored an average of 14 points a game when they play at Boise. Give me the Broncos in the super sketchy line at -5. This is one of those ones where Vegas knows something that we don't. Don't fall for it. Boise State -5.
All right, folks, you heard it right there. Mike is going for Boise off of old ancient history. Remember this one, folks, next week.
It's not that ancient. They've only played 17 times.
Ancient history. Let's be reality, Mike. I've told you about that. All right, take the next one, Mike. What do we got?
All right, next one we're going to talk here is Michigan State at Minnesota. Minnesota is favored by 7. Minnesota last week was part of the lowest total spread in the history of college football at 30.5 against Iowa. And what did we say last week? Take the under, and it was very much an under. Last year in this one, Michigan State lost to Minnesota 34-7 at home. Before that, Minnesota had lost its last 5 games to Michigan State. Michigan State's defense is really a problem this year. It's giving up 33 points a game to Big Ten opponents, and its offense is getting an average of just 12 points a game in those games. Not great. The good news for Michigan State is Minnesota is also not too great on offense. They're averaging only 17 points against Big Ten opponents, but their defense is also not too great. It's giving up 27 points a game to Big Ten opponents. So both of these schools are in the negative for point differential against Big Ten opponents. Michigan State, in my mind, I mean, they got to have some pride, right? After getting blown out by their rival last week, 49-0. They're sitting at 2-5 right now. And frankly, they cannot afford to lose a game, especially this one, because they have Ohio State and Penn State still on deck. And to become bowl eligible, they're going to have to beat one of those. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Minnesota will be able to have more success on this Michigan State defense than they had against Iowa last week. Michigan State's offense worries me. I don't know if they're going to be able to have too much success on the Gophers. Give me Minnesota -7 here. They're going to be holding up the Paul Bunyan Trophy at the end of the game. One more little fun fact here for you, Dave. So going back to the 1990s, because I know you love history. All right. Going back to the 1990s, this rivalry has seen a bit of a trend, good sir. In the 1990s, Michigan State was 6-1 versus the Gophers. Michigan State owned the 90s. In the 2000s, Minnesota had the edge. They went 5-2 against Michigan State. They owned the early 2000s. In the 2010s, I'm sure you can see where this is going. Michigan State had the edge against Minnesota, beating them 5-0. But so far in the 2020s, Minnesota is 1-0, which means, if you're paying attention to the trend here, the 2020s is all Minnesota. Minnesota -7. Go Gophers.
Makes total sense with all that history going back all those years, Mike. I'm totally with you there, buddy. So, all right. So, Michigan State, guys, I mean, 2-5, Minnesota 4-3. And one of the things Mike pointed out was these defenses. The offenses. Okay, to give you the numbers, okay, Michigan State, there's 133 teams in the FBS. Michigan State's offense, 118, baby.
Not great.
Not great. Minnesota, they're better, Mike. They're at 112, Mike. 112 on offense. So this game, you couldn't pay me to watch the game. This is the old proverbial watching paint dry. All right? So here's the deal. Gator Dave looked at what happened this year. He looked at the numbers. He looked at the scoring. And Gator Dave is thinking this one's going to be very similar to the Iowa game last week. A total snooze fest. So give me the under 41 points in this one, Miami Mike, and take it to the bank.
All right. I can dig it. All right, sir. Next game we're going to talk here is going to be your alma mater. Memphis Tigers at North Texas. Memphis is favored by 7.5. Go ahead, sir.
They are. So my Memphis Tigers coming in and heading on the road over there to North Texas. Tigers come in at 5-2, 3-1 against the spread. North Texas is 3-4, but 4-3 against the spread. So North Texas lost to Navy. Memphis beat Navy. Both teams lost to Tulane. Memphis is ranked 20th on offense in the nation, 47th on defense. Not too shabby, but they are trailing there at the 98th toughest schedule, so don't think like they played a lot of powerhouses. North Texas coming in at 25th on offense, was pretty close to that 20, right? But their defense, Mike, 123rd ranked defense in the nation with a schedule rank of 121. So they played garbage teams. They've got garbage defense. I think Memphis can put up numbers. Last week the Tigers put up 45 on UAB. I'm guessing this thing's heading that way this week as well. Granted, they're playing at UAB at North Texas, but they played at UAB last week. Memphis didn't have a problem. Tigers rushed for 5.8 yards a carry against UAB. Last week, the Mean Green did play decent against Tulane. I'll give them that. But I just don't think they've got the defense to hold up against a capable Memphis offense. So give me my Tigers at -7.5 there, Mike. What say you, sir?
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams are kind of clicking, at least the quarterback position, right? So you got quarterback Chandler Rogers for North Texas, 14 touchdowns, 1 interception on the year. He has had a couple issues fumbling the football, though, when under pressure. Jamori Macklin, all right, cousin of NFL wide receiver Jeremy Macklin, is North Texas's leading receiver. Absolute beast. He's got 9 touchdowns on the year. He's averaging just under 100 yards a game through 7 games. On the flip side, you got Seth Hennigan for Memphis, like you mentioned. Kind of struggled a little bit with interceptions. He's averaging 1 a game right now. And North Texas's defense has 8 interceptions on the year, so they are also averaging 1 a game. I think North Texas's defense is able to get a turnover or 2, help set up this North Texas offense to get some points on Memphis. So I think they're able to keep it a little bit close. The problem is North Texas's run defense is one of the worst in the nation. They're giving up over 250 yards a game. The weather also, I don't know if you saw this, Dave, is 90% chance of rain in Denton, Texas for this one. They also have rain today, they have rain tomorrow, and they have rain Friday. So the field's going to be pretty sloppy. I think these teams are going to rely heavy on the run in this one. I'm going to go with the under 70 here, Dave. I think that total is entirely too high. So that's where I'm going to go with that one.
So that total's gone up a bit since I saw it. So we're up to 70 on the total.
It went from 69.5 to 70. Yep, it hit that number. So
all right, up to 70. That could very well happen with the poor field conditions. All right.
Yeah, that's really what kind of did it for me, was just the fact that it's going to rain, because I think the quarterbacks are probably going to have some issues. They're going to be some turnovers.
They're adequate. Hennigan's okay, but. You put too many obstacles in front of him, it's going to be an issue. Granted, North Texas doesn't have a damn defense, so, I still think the Tigers are going to roll over them pretty good. But, all right, next up, Mike, you're going to go Mississippi State at Auburn, right?
Yeah, real quick, I do want to do a shout-out to our sponsor, Cover Your Assets. Check out shopcya.com if you're going to any sporting event, concert, high school game, whatever. You are required to have a clear plastic bag. Well, guess what, folks? It snaps on and it snaps off. Bow, just like that. So that's your clear bag. That's the back of it. Hold on. Well, there's a piece of paper in it to show that that's your stuff. It's clear on both sides. You just snap on, snap off, and your stuff is secure when you leave security. So you can go through security, get your stuff cleared, snap it back on, cover your assets, make sure all the weirdos are not looking at what you got in your baggie. ShopCya.com. Check it out. Cowabunga.
And they come in multiple colors.
Multiple colors. That was a Miami version because, obviously. Yep. So we got the Miami tie-dye. We also have a Gator Dave tie-dye. There's other designs as well. Make sure to check them out. I just like the tie-dye ones, but there are hundreds of other designs, so make sure to go see what they got. ShopCYA.com. All right.
All right.
So we're going to talk Mississippi State, Auburn next. We're going to talk a little SEC football. Last week, Mississippi State, Auburn is favored by 6.5 in this one. So last week, Mississippi State was without starting quarterback Will Rogers for the first time this year. Offense really struggled. It scored just 7 points in the win against Arkansas, 7-3. Arkansas fired their OC after that game. I don't know if you saw that, Dave. Former Miami OC Dan Enos and Wichita State head coach. Yes.
Your boy.
Little shout out to Ted Lasso there. But this week, so we got backup quarterback, former Vanderbilt quarterback Mike Wright. I think getting a full week of reps actually is going to make a difference here, Dave. I think he was kind of thrown into something he wasn't really expecting to play last week. Hey, you got to remember, you're doing the stinky, but didn't he beat you while he was at Vanderbilt, if I'm not mistaken? All right, we'll continue on. Auburn is still struggling to find a quarterback in week 9 of the season. Not ideal. They're on a 4-game losing streak after starting 3-0 to the season. Their run game so far has carried the team this season and has been able to keep them in closer games than a lot of people would have thought, and a lot of what their losses have shown. 2 of those 4 losses, all SEC games, by the way, in that 4-game loss. 2 of them were 1-score games, one being against the number 1 team in the nation, Georgia. But they're averaging giving up 32.5 points as a defense in those 4 games. That's a problem for me. So I think this over-under number is about a touchdown too low here, Gator Dave. I think it's an overreaction to Mississippi State's game last week against Arkansas. Give me the over 43, Gator Dave. Who do you like here?
All right. I love it. I'm loving it, Mike. So, we got a couple of interesting teams here. Obviously, you alluded to the fact that Auburn's lost their last 4. It just hadn't been good. And definitely Will Rogers not playing in the game. We're going to have Mike Wright from Vandy. Accuracy, just total hot garbage, 56%. That goes back to those days at Vanderbilt.
He didn't have an O-line.
And by the way, Mr. Marks, the running back for Mississippi State, will be out as well, hampered with a hamstring injury. If he tries to play, it ain't going to work. I don't see the Bulldogs scoring over 14 points in the game. Auburn's got some defensive players coming back for this one.
I know where this is going. Here we go.
Which is going to help. But they still can't find themselves with their quarterback situation. I mean, they've been doing the Ashford Thorne thing, and I didn't have a chance to dig into it, but they're talking about more quarterback crap today. So I don't even know what's going on, but I'm totally the other side of where Mike is on this game. I think this is another paint dry game, and this game's going under 43 points because it's going paint dry. Count on it.
I like it. I like it.
So why does Mr. Seegers think Gator Dave should be drug tested? I mean, I don't understand what's going on down there. But so let's roll into the next game. So
next game you want to tell us, Dave?
Next game is
what you doing down there in Panama City, buddy?
What?
All
right. Next game, Georgia State at Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern's favored 1.5 in this game. So Georgia State comes in at 6-1 and 5-2 against the spread. Georgia Southern is what they're at 5-2, and they're quite well against the spread as well. Georgia State ranked 46th on offense, 40th on defense. Georgia Southern 40th on offense, 59th on defense. So both playing pretty damn well down there in their division. Darren Granger, quarterback for Georgia State, coming around a bit, kind of showing himself quite well. Bryn for Georgia State, he can throw the ball around too, the transfer from Tulsa. Georgia Southern's doing a good job stopping the run here. Georgia State has won this game. These are your stats, Mike. It's won the game the last 3 years in a row, and they've covered the last 3 years.
Ooh, bringing up the history. There we go.
It's
you know I like
Mike.
history, Dave.
You like history. You're a history guy.
That's right.
Southern struggled to get against ULM last week, so that's what has me a little worried about Georgia Southern. I know Mike loves Georgia Southern. I haven't even seen his picks. I don't get to see him till the game, but I guarantee he's picking Georgia Southern. So all those reasons,
you don't know me,
Gator Dave is going to go Georgia State and give me 1.5 in Georgia State on Thursday night. What say you, Mike?
Yeah, not so fast, my friend. So Georgia State does lead the series all time with a 9-3 record in 12 meetings. Here's some history for you, sir. Georgia State is 3-1 in games at Georgia Southern in Statesboro. Georgia Southern is 10-7 all time in Thursday night games. This game is on Thursday tomorrow. But
so it matters about the games, the night they play.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. You don't. So hold on. You don't think that there's a little bit of screwy mischief type things that happen on weekday games?
I don't know. A football game's a football game to me, Mike.
Oh, okay. Well, on those Thursday night games, they're 5-2 all time, so they got that going for them. I think this has all the potential to be a shootout. Georgia State has some beasts on offense. Their quarterback, Granger, monster. They got a good running back, good wide receiver. Georgia Southern, I think their ability to throw the football is going to be the difference in this one. I also think they have a better running game and a better defense against the running game, which is going to be able to slow down Georgia State a little bit. You know where I'm going. Georgia Southern money line. It's Southern over State, baby. And in the Borough, night game Thursday, after classes, they're going to be skipping classes. There's going to be deals at the bars. They're going nuts in the Borough. I'm telling you.
It's going to be chaos.
Southern over State. And I'm also telling you that rivalry matters a little bit more to Southern than State because Southern kind of gets forgotten as the GSU. So they're going to be ready to rock. Give me Southern.
All right, we'll see, Mike. So this is another head-to-head there, Mike. So let's see how we do there, partner.
We got a couple this week. I think we got 4 or 5, something like that. So we got a couple head-to-heads.
All right,
next game.
Next up, let's head west.
Yep, we're going Pac-12 here. We got Washington State that way. We got Washington State at Arizona State. Washington State is a 6-point favorite. Look, both of these teams rely heavily on the passing games. They do not, either one of them have a rushing attack. They both average less than 100 yards a game on the ground. Arizona State, though, has had a ton of injuries, specifically at the quarterback position. Like we've talked about before in past shows, they've started 4 different quarterbacks already, and they have not done very well. But despite their struggles, Arizona State has had 3 back-to-back-to-back losses by a single possession. So they are sitting at 1-6 right now, but they easily could be 4-3. And they were actually winning that game against top 5 Washington last week going into the fourth quarter. So they've been playing teams tough lately. But that game, in my opinion, was really more so because of Michael Penix and the Washington offense just kind of getting in their own way. They turned the ball over 3 times, and the reason I say it was more so on Washington rather than Arizona State, he threw 2 interceptions in that game, Dave. Those were the first 2 interceptions that Arizona State has had as a defense all year long, was in that game. So Washington State, on the flip side, has played a tough game against Oregon last week. They were tied at 17 apiece at the half, but Oregon just pulled away in the third quarter and kind of put on them and jumped ahead. Washington State couldn't really come back. I think they come in angry in this one. They've lost their last 3 after starting the year 4-0. They're now sitting at 4-3. I think Washington State's defense is able to get some pressure on the quarterback and force a turnover or 2 to cover the 6 on the road, get back on track, and ultimately end Arizona State's shot at a bowl game, putting them at 1-7 on the year. But I got to say, though, because with or without the win or the loss here against Washington State, Arizona State has a very steep hill to climb to become bowl eligible. They have to play Utah, UCLA, Oregon, and Arizona as their last 4 after this one. So it's going to be a tough first year for head coach Kenny Dillingham, I think. So give me Washington State minus the 6 points. Who do you like here, Dave?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, Mike. I think Arizona State's not going to win another game the rest of the year, in my opinion. So, I mean, Wazoo's had kind of this up and down season so far. You know, they got a nice quarterback. They have lost those last 3 games against Oregon, Arizona, UCLA. You know, they did have the big win against Oregon State, and we'll talk more about that when we start talking about the Oregon State game. But when you look at things, Washington State's their offense is ranked 36, defense not so good at 98. But then you look at Arizona State, their offense is 124, just garbage. I mean, and it goes back to, you know, we've talked about those quarterbacks, and they just haven't found it yet. 78th on defense, so it's just not going to be good. Sun Devils gave Washington a battle last weekend, probably scared them. I think, you know, last weekend was that weekend where usually about a little past the halfway mark, we start seeing those games where the good teams get a scare. Mm-hmm. Some of the good teams lose a game, you know, so you really got to kind of think about that as you pass that halfway mark. And I think that was Washington's scare game. So, you know, I don't think this one's going to be much of anything. I think the Cougars are going to take care of things. So give me them in 6 points here, Mike.
All right. I like it. Moving on here to the next one, sir. We got Oklahoma State, and who do they play?
Cincinnati at Oklahoma State. So Oklahoma State's getting 7.5 here in this game. The Bearcats have, they've been stinking it up pretty bad. 2-5 against the spread. Okie State's 5-3, 4-3 against the spread. They had that slow start and now have kind of come back to the reality in terms of what a real Oklahoma State team is. You know, the Bearcats have lost. They've lost their last 5 games, you know, lost to Baylor, Iowa State. That's kind of the bottom level Big 12 teams, except now that we've got the new Big 12. We've got the newbies, right, and they're having issues, all of them pretty much.
Yep.
So they're having a rough time adjusting to the Big 12, and obviously they lost Luke Fickell. He's up there tearing it up at Wisconsin, right? So all good there. So OSU beat West Virginia, beat Kansas State. I mean, holy crap. I mean, just that right there tells me enough. I mean, I can go on and on. Both teams, you know, have had some issues on the defensive side of the ball, but man, the Cowboys are humming. They beat some really good teams, and let's be real, Cincinnati's not good. I mean, this one's a Gator Dave lock. Give me the Cowboys to cover the 7.5, easy money.
Gator Dave lock. All right, so I think maybe we're gonna have to try to figure out how to keep track of these Gator Dave locks. Just saying. Oklahoma
Just
State.
look at that. Look up, Mike. Look at
right.
the little badge.
Yeah. It's my time. My time to talk now. My time to talk. Oklahoma State lives or dies with a guy at running back named Ollie Gordon. Absolute freak. He's gone over 100 rushing yards in his last 4 games. He's just gotten more and more and more. Last week he had 282 rushing yards against West Virginia on 29 carries and had 4 touchdowns. Went crazy. On the flip side, Cincinnati has a relatively good rush defense. They're giving up just 100 yards a game, but they do struggle though to force turnovers, and they do struggle to get pressure on the QB. For Oklahoma State, not so much. They have 7 interceptions as a team and have 16.5 sacks on the year, so they're having some success back there. I think Oklahoma State is able to force the quarterback into some bad decisions. I think that Emory Jones, your favorite guy for Cincinnati, is going to make some mistakes in this one, And Cincinnati is going to have to wait another week to get their first Big 12 victory ever. Not looking great for them right now. They got a shot against UCF next week. But give me the Cowboys minus the 7.5 at home to get it done here.
All right, I'm with you. We're there. Let's go back left coast, baby.
That way. All right, so we are going to talk Pac-12 again. We got Oregon State minus 3.5 at Arizona. Arizona is sitting at 4-3 on the season, so they're going to need to win 2 out of their last 5 to become bowl eligible. Their next 4, though, are pretty tough. They got this one against Oregon State, followed by UCLA, Colorado, and Utah. So they're going to have to make some things shake here in these next 4 games. So this one's pretty important for Arizona at home, led under Jed Fish. Jed Fish is an offensive guy, and he's got this team humming right now. Oregon State, on the flip side, sitting at 6-1, just outside the top 10. They're sitting at number 11, behind Clemson transfer quarterback DJ Uiagalelei. Damn, man, I practiced that earlier too.
Uiagalelei.
There you go. Yeah, but I practiced it. That's the sad part, Dave. I still messed it up. All right, so he's thrown for over 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions on the year. Little spite, little shade thrown at Dabo, who did not want him, and Dabo's sitting at 4-3 now, unranked. It's beautiful to see. You got to love karma. Oregon State's defense has forced 21 sacks on the year. They're averaging 3 a game, and their defense is also averaging an interception a game. Defense is pretty good. In Pac-12 play, though, Oregon State's defense, not so much. They're giving up over 27 points a game. On the flip side, you got Arizona, which is averaging 30 points a game on offense in Pac-12 play. Their defense is giving up 25 points a game, so not so good there either. But Oregon State's offense in Pac-12 play, Dave, 36 points a game right now. They are putting up numbers. I think this ends real close to the total here and could kind of go either way. I kind of had a tough one which way I was going to go here. I leaned to the over with how these offenses have been playing, but give me the Wildcats at home, Dave, to shock the world, end the Beavers' playoff aspirations like you just mentioned. It's kind of that time of the year for some people to kind of separate themselves or fall backwards. This is Oregon State's time to kind of fall back a little bit. I'm going to take the Arizona Wildcats with the plus 3.5, but I think they have a real good shot at the outright here, Dave. Who do you got?
Oh, Mike. Okay, we'll see how we do here. So, Arizona's big win this year, Washington State, right? And we know the Washington State roller coaster, right? So Oregon State did lose to Washington, to Wazoo, right? That's their one loss. So it's like, ooh, how should we look at this, right? Let's look at the stats. So Oregon State, 12th best offense in the nation, 38 on defense. And you go,
pretty good.
What's their schedule look like? 49th. All right. So we got 12, we got 38, and we got 49. Arizona, 40th ranked offense, 39 on defense. So their defense are wash, and 55th on the schedule. So the schedules are right about the same. So that Uiagalelei 12th ranked offense sounds like a winner chicken dinner to me. I'm high on the Beavers' chance of making that Pac-12 title game in December. However, they're a different team when they leave Corvallis, right? That hadn't changed in 2023. They lost when they went to Pullman. But I am sticking with DJ Uiagalelei and gimme them Beavers and 3.5 points there, Mike, and another Gator Dave lock.
Ooh, Gator Dave lock. Another one on the board. All right, love to see it. Love to see it. Real quick, I want to shout out everybody that's in the chat. I see you. Gator Dave sees you. Keep doing what you're doing. We love to see it. Thank you for everybody who's jumping in there. Really helps us out with our videos and stuff. Thank you again. And I see you. We're all in this together. You got it, Squishy. You know
it's
this.
Nice, man. It's nice. We got some serious chatting going on. We got some newbies
it's
there.
Awesome. Awesome.
We got Black Ops, Squishy in there, and who else do we have? We had another newbie.
We got Charles. We got Navaski. We got Ian. We got Public House. We got awesome. Evelyn. It's all over the place. Awesome. We got Scott. Awesome. You gotta love it.
Scott's in there. My boy Scott's in there too.
Your boy Scott's in there, man. I swear he is. Real quick, for everybody that hasn't yet, please like and subscribe. Drop a comment. What games you want us to talk about maybe next week. Who you think's going to win this week. Let us know below. Really helps us out again. All right, Gator Dave, let's keep it SEC here. We got 3 games left.
Let's go. We got 3 left, and we're going a couple of SEC games. So we're going to start with a rocky top, right? Tennessee -3.5 at Kentucky. So the Vols come in at 5-2, 3-3 against the spread. Kentucky at 5-2 as well, 4-4 against the spread. Kentucky got their butt tore up by UGA, got their butt tore up by Mizzou, and they beat my Gators, which kind of sucks. The Vols lost to Bama last weekend by 14. Hey. Lost last weekend to 14 to Bama, but they also lost to my Gators, right? So the Vols come in 43rd best offense, 23rd best defense, 22nd toughest schedule. Kentucky really kind of there on offense, 44. Defense only 55, but the 79th toughest schedule, so not too good. Vols are struggling offense. Defense looks pretty well. Last week they just laid down in the second half. It's just we're going to give up and just let Bama do their thing in the second half. I'm like, what the heck? They played a great first half.
Yeah.
Looking on the other side of the ball, Devin Leary, everybody was all high on Devin Leary. He's not that good, okay? He's completing 54% of his passes. He hasn't done well at all. If it weren't for their running back, they'd have no luck at all, as they say. Both teams do have a good running game. It's going to be old smash mouth, because neither one of these quarterbacks are that great. They can't get the ball down the field. Their completion rate percentages aren't that good. I know the guy Milton can get it down there every once in a while, but it's not enough, Mike.
Just like not enough. 70, 80 yards in the air.
It's not enough, Mike. They're not good quarterbacks, neither one of these guys. I mean, if you look at where the Vols are this year from an offensive perspective, and the quarterbacks, Hooker and Milton, it's just not even close. And I'll be honest with you, Kentucky's the same way. I mean, to me, Leary's worse than the kid last year. So where are we with all this? Give me the Vols in -3, Mike. Ooh.
Yeah, I'll give them to you -3.5. You're gonna have to earn it here, sir. Here's some history for you, brother. All right. Since 1985, folks. Listen up, grab your books. All right. Since 1985, Tennessee is 34-3 against Kentucky. 34-3 since 1985. Those 3 losses have come within the last 12 games. 2 of those losses have come within the last 6. So Mark Stoops, little bit of success here against the Volunteers. Kentucky had not seen it, obviously, in a very long time. Tennessee's high-flying offense, though, struggling lately, only scoring 20 points in the last 2 games. Kentucky is off a bye week and has been relatively good as a home underdog under Mark Stoops. Unfortunately for Kentucky, their defense has really struggled defending the pass this year, And their offense's inefficiency to hold on to the ball has really put that defense in some tough spots. The offense has 10 total turnovers as a unit. Kentucky does have a future first-round pick defensive back in Maxwell Hairston. Dude's got 5 interceptions by himself. Absolute ball hawk. So he could give Joe Mixon some potential problems. But I think the Volunteers are going to be able to find some success in this passing game and force some turnovers against the Wildcats. Give me the Vols -3.5, good sir.
We're there, Mike. All that hoo-ha,
right.
It was all fun, but we're both going Vols. Love it,
We're
love
both
it.
going
All right,
Vols.
let's go. Mike, let's go.
That way. We're going back west, but real quick, one more shout-out, or another quick shout-out. Shop CYA. That is our sponsor. You'll see it at the top of your screen, shopcya.com. Get your covers if you're going to concerts, football games, basketball games, high school events. You need a clear plastic bag. This is a cover that is designed to snap on and snap off, so you can snap it off when you're going through security. They check it, give you the all good, then you snap it back on once you've gotten through security to cover your assets for when you're walking around the event. You know, hide your wallet, hide your credit cards, hide your license, all that good stuff. Check them out, shopcya.com. You will not be sorry. They have hundreds of designs. These are just the camo ones. They're super cool, or the tie-dye ones, super cool. Tons of schools, tons of color options. Check it out, shopcya.com. All right, moving on. We got 2 games left. Like Gator Dave said, we're going that way. Say it, Dave.
We're going that way.
There you go. All right, we got Oregon -6.5 at Utah. Utah is giving up just 16 points a game at home this year to Pac-12 opponents. Utah's offense is scoring 22 points a game in those games against Pac-12 opponents. Oregon on offense, a little bit better. They're averaging over 38 points a game in Pac-12 play, and their defense is giving up just 18 points a game in Pac-12 play. Utah is coming off an emotional win last week with a buzzer beater kick to beat the USC Trojans, and now they have a follow-up right here with Oregon on deck. Not a great slot, in my opinion. Big difference in defense that they're going to see this week. That USC defense last week for Utah, they gave up 250 yards on the ground to the Utah Utes. That's not going to happen against Oregon this week. They're going to make those quarterbacks throw. They're going to stuff the box. Utah is still on their backup quarterbacks. Cam Rising, their starter, who he's been there for 8 years. He's not playing this year. Probably will come back next year, I would assume, just because his draft stock obviously, probably took a shot by not playing this year. I think those QBs for Utah really struggle in this one. Both teams also cannot afford a loss here if they want to stay in the playoff hopes. They both only have 1 loss on the season, but I think that Oregon defense is going to be the difference maker in this. Oregon's offense also, just as a reminder, over 550 yards a game, second in the nation. They put up points. I think this one could be close early, but I'm telling you, if Oregon scores first, it might get ugly pretty quickly. I like Oregon here to keep their playoff hopes alive. Give me Oregon -6.5. What say you, Dave?
Mike, I can start with, I think it's going to be an ugly game. I'm just going to leave it at that. You kind of led this thing up. I mean, both teams are 6-1 and all that, right? And Utah's had that great defense throughout the year, but they've had an advantage with the schedule. I'll admit, and I'm telling you, the Ducks, only lost to Washington by 3. Okay, Utes only lost to Oregon State at Oregon State a month ago. But here's the deal, Mike. Oregon has the second best offense in the nation. Okay?
Pretty good.
16th on defense. Okay?
Pretty good.
And 69th toughest schedule. So Utah comes in 69th best offense. It's just not going well. Not good. 11th on defense. So their defenses are almost identical. I just think it's just going to be too much. And like you said, I think the key here is that this is the best defense that Utah's seen so far. I think it's going to be hard for them to score over 14, 17 max.
Yeah, that's where I got it.
It's just not going to be much, and there's no way anybody can keep Oregon's defense under 30, 25, 24 to 30. So, you do the math. It's pretty simple. I'm going to give this one another Gator Dave lock. Ducks are going to take care of business and cover that 6.5 in this game, Mike.
Yeah, I like the Gator Dave lock here, sir. I think that's a good one. All right, we got one game left. We are going to Jacksonville for your squad here against the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia is a 14-point favorite in this one, so it's moved a little bit because it started 14.5. So a little bit of money there on the Gators there, Gator Dave. How do you feel about it this year?
A couple of months ago, Mike, it was 21, 22,
Whoa,
dude.
Look at y'all, dude. Hey, a little bit of faith. A little bit of faith, huh?
Boom, yeah. So we're talking the world's largest cocktail party coming up this weekend. And Gator Dave will be on hand. He's co-pilots. His boy Monty Welshons and family are coming with Gator Dave to the cocktail party this week. So looking forward to that. So the Dogs come in unbeaten at 7-0. Mike, any idea what they are against the spread?
It's not great, Dave. It's not
great. 1-6 against the spread. Okay. Gators are 5-2. Hadn't played anybody. And 3-4 against the spread. A little better than the Dogs, right? So what can you say? All right. Georgia has the 7th best offense in the country, 7th on defense, 95th toughest schedule. So they've had a tough road to hoe, right? Woo. Florida comes in only the 63rd best offense, improving. I've seen quite a bit of improvement over the last couple of weeks. They've thrown the ball down the field a little bit more, so looking a little bit better on offense. But 34th ranked defense, which is so much better than where we were last year. So I'm pretty happy with where we are right now. Don't think we're going to tear things up. I think maybe one more win before the season's out, but we'll keep our hopes there. If we look back, our last game against South Carolina, barn burner comeback against South Carolina. Offense moved the ball, threw the ball down the field, which was pretty exciting. Our defense continues, however, against South Carolina and Kentucky, just not looking that great. We're super young, but no excuse. This is big boy football, and our defense isn't playing that well.
Didn't
you? Big boy football. If you look at the Dogs, yes, they lost Brock Bowers, but Beck is playing much better as of late. Last 2 weeks, we look at 29 of 39 for 261 against Kentucky. He was 28 of 35, 389. That was the first one was last week. Then against Kentucky, he threw for almost 400 yards. They've still got a stable of receivers. They've still got great running backs. I mean, everybody's hyping this Brock Bowers things up like it's, oh, my God, we've lost, Peyton Manning or something like that. But
he's pretty good.
He's pretty good, but he's not that big a factor in the offense, especially against my average Gators. Key points here. Georgia's defense, amazing on third downs, number 1 in the nation. Okay. Florida on third downs, we're only converting 33%. We're probably
where's that in the nation, Dave?
Probably about 100. I'm just spitballing.
Probably worse than that. Probably worse than that. It's the Gators. Come on.
Which is garbage, which is not good. I think that's going to be one of the biggest factors in slowing our ability to score here. Here's my thought. The Gators are going to hold Georgia to 31, but Florida's only going to score 17. So if I do that math, that's 48. Mike, I think I'm going to go the over 47 in this game and stick with that because confidence on the home front there, my friend.
Okay. I think, sir, you are disrespectful for saying Brock Bowers is not only the focal point of that offense, but a major part of it. He's the leading receiver for the last 3 years. He started since he was a freshman.
It's one guy.
The dude makes – come on, man. Come on. You're telling me these games that you see and the catches that he makes, you think that that's not like – that's just replaceable? Get out of here. All right.
Yes.
Anyway,
with 5 stars and 4 stars.
You might be onto something a little bit because the backup coming in, his name is Oscar Delp. He is out of Georgia.
I know we recruited him, dude. I know.
Man, tough spot. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to bring up old wounds. However, he is basically a Brock Bowers clone. He's got pretty much the same athleticism, same tangibles, but he's not quite Brock Bowers. And he has fumbled once or twice this year also after catching the football. Hasn't had too much time either. But don't get it twisted. I mean, Bowers, again, like I'm saying, he is a total safety blanket for this offense. He was for Stetson Bennett. He is for Carson Beck, or he was. But Carson Beck is throwing at 73%. He's got over 2,100 yards through 7 games. He might be okay. I think he's going to figure out. He's going to have some other options. Oscar Delp, like I said, he's just like Brock Bowers. You know, as long as he's been preparing correctly, he's going to be able to step right in and probably take over for him. For your team, Graham Mertz, I mean, I gotta admit, I was wrong, dude. That's what I'm saying. I'm giving him credit. I was wrong. I said from the jump that guy was not it. The transfer from Wisconsin. He's proved me wrong so far. I mean, he's throwing for 76% completion. That's crazy. Averaging over 270 yards a game. He only has 2 interceptions, which is not the Wisconsin Graham Mertz that we used to know. He's taking care of the football. The problem for y'all is your offensive line, dude. 19 sacks
not
on
good,
the year
dude.
given
not
up.
Good.
Not great.
That's exactly the problem. That's the total problem.
Pretty much, because I don't know if you've heard, but Georgia's front seven's pretty good. I think they're going to give Mertz some issues and kind of get after him a little bit. I do, however, think that Florida is going to keep this one close because, like we've mentioned previously this year on these shows, Georgia has typically started pretty slow in the first half, Dave. So we are going to go Florida plus 7.5 in the first half. I think that they're able to give Georgia a little bit of a scare here that they are not used to, especially in this game. So give me the Gators plus 7.5. And then in the second half, Kirby Smart rips your balls off and Georgia ends up beating you by, 2-3 scores and carries on. But first half, I think y'all give them a game. I think there's enough in the running game with ETN. As long as Mertz does not turn the ball over, I think y'all got a shot. I think your defensive line could maybe shake back up a little bit too. So I'm taking the Gators for 7.5 in the first half.
The amazing, the official, the unbelievable, the ball coach has predicted a win for the Gators, by the way. That would be Steve Spurrier.
Who?
Steve Spurrier. Granted, he's a little
senile
now.
All right, dude. Yeah, but let's be real. Steve Spurrier has been one of Billy Napier's biggest anti-Billies. He's called him out. He started a bunch of shit on radio shows with fans.
Look where he's going now.
Yeah, nothing like a little pressure against the best team in the nation for the last 3 years. Go get it done, bud. And if you don't, guess who's coming for his ass? Florida fans. The good news is y'all look like you got a pretty good recruiting class next year, so he's got that to bank on. All right, real quick.
Number 3's not bad. Number 3's not bad there, Mike.
Real quick, let's throw up the recap for this week. So we are both on Ohio. I'm on Boise. You're on Wyoming. I'm on Minnesota. You are on the under there. I got the Memphis, North Texas under. You got Memphis. I am on the over in Mississippi State, Auburn. You are on the under. I got Georgia Southern. It's Southern, not State. You will learn that tomorrow night, sir. You got Georgia State. We're both on Washington State. We're both on Oklahoma State. I am on Arizona. You are on Oregon State. We're both on Tennessee. We're both on Oregon. And I got the Gators first half plus 7.5, and you got the over 47 for the game, good sir.
So we only agree on 5 this week.
We agree on only 5. So we got. That's
All
what I'm saying.
right.
There's some potential
Mike,
major movement here. Major
you
movement potential here.
Whiz right past the 4. You're behind me, Mike. This time.
I'm telling you.
That
that medal could be the last time you ever have it. You better take pictures. Take pictures. Savor it while you got it.
It could be gone, Mike.
That's right, dude.
Just like that.
Yep. I'm right there on the edge.
Hey, I do want to thank everybody that's been in the chat. This one been one of the best chats we've had in quite some time. Sticking around, Novoski Seegers and
that's my guy.
And Public House and Black Ops and Kelly and Hindu. I mean, my goodness, what a great chat today. So please don't forget to subscribe. Please like everything we've got going on. Leave us a message, man. It's been a great day. Look forward to the big game this weekend down in Jacksonville. So fingers crossed. And maybe Steve Spurrier is a soothsayer.
Probably
Give me
not.
some. Go Gators.
Yeah, go Canes, baby. We're facing Virginia after that awesome win against Clemson last week. Can we keep it going? No hiccups, please. No letdowns. Just keep going. Keep going. Keep going. All right. Go Canes. Go Canes. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We appreciate it. Week 9. Good luck, Gator Dave.
Same to you, Miami Mike. Have a good one.
Thank you again.